My name is Christine and I'm one of the coaches at Wealth Enhancers. This week I'll be talking to you about why health and wealth are very much intertwined. So firstly, why am I so passionate about this topic? Some of you may know I am a weightlifter and I train in a club with a lot of young people and a lot of Gen Y. And I'm not the type of weightlifter that pulls weights on the machines. I do the snatch and the clean and jerk, which are typically the movements that you see in the sport of weightlifting in the Olympics. As I said, I'm a financial coach and I'm very fortunate enough to work with a lot of our members and help them set some pretty amazing, ambitious life goals and see them progress along the way as well. And often a lot of the goals involve a lot of health goals too, which is really important. So what do I actually see in my experience? So in the gym, we are very fortunate enough to often sit around and have a chat about a lot of different topics, one including finances. And what's been very startling for me is to see the trend between health and how someone is going with their own well-being as well as their finances. Now, these members, they might come into the gym every single day and do the work. However, they may also be struggling with other areas like their weight or potentially other areas of their health, battling with different sicknesses or things like gut issues. And when we talk about finances, what I actually see is often I actually see a very blasé attitude in these people when it comes to their finances. Often they may know that it's important, but are too lazy to do anything about it. As an example, they may delay doing their tax return, or they may have multiple superannuation funds and just shrug it off and feel like, you know what, it's not important. As a coach, what I often see as well is that a lot of members who, not a lot, but members who do struggle with their health, they may be going through a tough time with their health, maybe having to see different practitioners, seeing different specialists, might be battling with their weight, or might be battling with an illness beyond their control. Often, if they're not focused on their finances and motivated with their finances, it can actually have a big impact on it. And, they may just put expenses on the credit cards without really thinking about, well, how is this going to impact my goals and my progress towards building wealth. And so, as you can see, it is very much interrelated. There are trends that I've seen in the work that I've done with members, but also in the chats that I have with a lot of the people that I train with. So what are my suggestions to get your health and wealth in shape? Health, no doubt, is an investment. However, I must stress that it can also be a very bad investment if you don't plan for it right. As you know, it can be very costly. And so ensuring that you understand what the costs are is so important. You need to firstly figure out, okay, so what is my looking after me plan? Do I want to go to the gym? So I might need a gym membership. Do I want to see PT, 2, 3, 4 times a week? Do I, want to see the chiro, get massages, or see the physio? I might want to see a nutritionist. And all these costs can add up. So if we get an understanding of, well, what is my looking after me plan? How much does it cost? It's the first step. Don't forget, you might also want to buy some new gym gear as well. And so the next step is asking yourself, okay, so if these are my expenses, how does this fit into my budget? So this is actually assuming that you have a budget to begin with. And if you don't, you can go to our website and download a budget template. I'll put a link in the comments after this as well. So having a look at how those expenses fit into your budget. Is your budget in a shortfall? And if it is, well, you need to make some decisions around certain expenses. And it might be, okay, well, I'm going to see the PT 2 times a week instead of 3. I might see the massage therapist once every 2 months. Or I might say, okay, well, you know what, I'm just going to have to sacrifice buying some new gym gear make do with what I have until my income increases. The third step is, okay, well, despite fitting all those expenses into your budget, great job. There's no doubt going to be other expenses that might pop up along the way. And as an example, you might become very ill, and then you might have to see doctors, you might have to see specialists, or you might actually have to take some time off work, and you might use all your sick leave and as a result have no income. So it is so important that you also have an emergency fund in place in case things don't work out according to plan. At Wealth Enhancers, we call it your get out of jail account, and it's purely for unexpected emergency expenses. So it never gets touched unless it's a genuine emergency. We generally target about 3 months income in that account. So if things do happen to you, you don't have to stress over, well, where am I going to get the money from? Because it's in your emergency fund. You also need to have a think about, there are going to be some very serious illnesses that you might have, or the worst case scenarios, which we don't really like to talk about. So it's very important that you also get some insurances in place. As young people, the common mentality is that, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't have any dependents, I don't have a mortgage, nothing's going to happen to me, it's fine. But let's face it, we all know someone that's been in that position and it's impacted themselves, their friends, their family in a way that they couldn't even have imagined. So getting some insurances in place is so important, because when that does happen to you, the most important thing is that you are focusing on your health. Your family and friends can focus on how they can help you rather than stressing over, shit, how am I going to get the money? Now, all this is great, but we need to remember that we need to start taking action today, because it's all these little steps that add up over the long term. And without taking any action today, you're going to continue to have a very big impact on your finances when your health isn't going right, and vice versa. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to also let you guys know that we're also offering free 1 hour financial kickstart session with either Rebecca or myself. Now, this session is for people who are ready to get started on their journey towards financial freedom. So if this is you, go to our website and book in a session. I'll see you guys next time.